先问话问话。3个玻璃杯。
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand.
每个
They
人
might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
哦，觉得他有在骗哦。
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
打不开。
Let us try to open this safe. This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
这么方便了，还要指示给我。开。调查。哇，一堆钱呢，我可以拿钱
It
吗？
is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
医疗报告。您目前的身心状况十分堪忧，有多个指标表明你的肝功能代偿不全。我们上一次见面的时候，你的眼球充血，皮肤泛黄，你口中的气味也表明您的肝损伤十分严重。此外，您患有肺囊肿。我们先前已经提过了，你的腿随时会痉挛，这说明你的神经系统已受到影响，这都是酗酒带来的后果。在检查的时候，你的肝硬化已经非常严重了，而且还有迹象表明你的腹腔有积水，左边的肋骨的疼痛表明胰脏也有病变，这会导致突发性胰腺炎。您的身体状况很有可能会影响到身边的人，请您务必要停止酗酒，学会自控。哦，酗酒很严重啊。
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
那外面有得调查吗？可以走出来，就代表有可以调查的东西吧？有一间小屋子。哦，这个要出去了。个井。这里呢？这里能开吗？不行。井没有东西。那看一下这个小屋子啊，不能进哦。 好吧。
The death was instant.
一击致命。尤斯塔斯先生的名声。
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight.
哇，
Another
直接
day he
泼
threw
燃
a
油点
decanter
火
of。wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
哦，探长的故事，暴力行为。致命的意外。打结的绳子。那看来只能请我们的托比大师帮忙了。回贝克街吧。到了。托比大师帮我。
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
养兵千日，用在一时。
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
我要怎么弄？对，主角终于登场。演绎法，对话调查，分析台调查绳子。
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the
切
rope
口
are
很整
smoothly
齐。
cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
修剪枝。咔叽。
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
变得不一样了。剪刀。哇！我要剪刀。啊，这是卡关哦。哦，有。
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
小刀，轻。
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
看来是小刀。B， 锋利的小刀，打结的绳子。幕后水手。 调查报告。可是，调查报告那要回庄园吧？回庄园问。哎呦，好可爱哦！跟我们坐着马车，高追。这让我来，先来抱我。
Search, Toby.
Search, Toby. 去吧，托比。我靠呀！我是控制他哦！哇，真主角，真主角。啊，我要怎么闻？不是呀，你要给我一个。哦哟，有看到了，看到一阵风。我还可以跑诶，哇，好可爱！靠我了，看到这绿绿的光，就跟主人的头顶一样绿。果然是这个小屋吗？不是。闻。
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
继续追踪。哦，果然这口井也有问题。闻，哇！
The scent leads to the well.
我得调查一下。等一下，我们托比大师还没结束，等一下再调查。才阁有一个物件。
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
哦，好亮！为什么要这样做呢？先看一下小屋，就觉得这小屋有问题。钩子拿取。
Hook might be useful.
袋子、工具箱、手提箱。
This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved.
调查完了，这么快，空的袋子被拿走了。 发光物体
glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
钩子使用，噔噔噔噔噔噔噔噔噔，哦 ，easy， 打开全部都是银器。
Silverware. This is hard.
啊！ 哦，还有家徽。
Coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
看样子是个幌子哦。发现银器。注视抢劫是伪装的。两人。 吱，体格健硕。还有第三人吗？托比大师。
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
最厉害的托比大师。先不要，不是找你。
Your ladyship.
暴力史。
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
非常难过。
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are.
哎呦，很会演呢。
Indeed. We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
哎呦，
Your ladyship.
没有私生活。没有熟人。直布罗陀岩号。幕后水手，家庭暴力。登门拜访的人有可能是水手。检查一下水手嫌疑犯。调查档案。我们找到失窃的银器了。
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
真的。好，那我们先回贝克街调查一下案子，然后再找一下水手，好把我们托比大师送回家。18多3年哦，1893。直布罗陀岩号，一艘往来于阿德莱德和伦敦之间的货运用船，在为期6个月航行之后，途经印度、新西兰和澳大利亚，终于返航。此外还搭载一名特殊乘客玛丽· 伯雷泽，澳大利亚名门的后裔。据说该名年轻小姐接受了豪绅尤斯塔斯·布莱克斯多先生的求婚。找到了。
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
不用假扮啊，我本来就是啦。
I'll call in the specialist.
别的方法，我要扮演水手了吗？直布罗陀派遣威金斯，哦，又要叫威金斯了。召唤拉窗户。
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893 and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My
当然
secret
行
police
啊
is better than the yard in many ways.
3小时就好了。
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
我的小侦探团可是超丢的，情报收集班。哪里？你放在哪个桌上？这里。
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
盖亚号，不是盖亚号吧？是直布罗陀什么的，这个临时三福，威廉帕莱基先生，怀丁顿。
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall... I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
哦，画在这里是不是？这
This
里啦。
officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. 还有谁？ Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be
划线。
involved. This officer is still at sea,
划线。
therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea,
划线。
therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he
划线。
cannot be involved.
一个杰克什么的，克罗什么的，杰克克罗克。
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Today， 那还有一个查尔斯 W 切什么的，找一下查尔斯 W 切什么。
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time
看
of
来
the
是
crime.
杰克·克罗克先生。
Captain Jack Crocker is our
Captain
mysterious visitor.
Jack
He was
Crocker.
the only one around at the time of the murder.
召唤克罗克与他对峙。
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him.
嫌疑完成，召唤克罗克。麻烦你了，威金斯。
Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
我觉得好像要直接下结论了。
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
哎呦，有够
It is
高哦！
important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
先看一下外观，清澈的眼神，忠诚。身体健硕，报纸墨迹，干净的靴子，水手刀。
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her from when I was first officer, but I still don't see.
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
How
Indeed,
dare
how
you?
reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You? And what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
是你绑了他，
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder,
玩这么大
and，it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was tied with a
水手
sailor's
节
knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was
Sharp.
supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night.
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
哦，他也是来看一
Holmes,
下我们证
what should we
据。
do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
克罗克陈述，克罗克船长。 直接就牵连，就直接凶手，这样太武断了吧？完成，觉得这样太武断了。还有什么其他的线索吗？好像没了呢。没有熟人，一出意外。争执中不小心撞了脑袋，试图掩盖真相。我觉得比较像试图掩盖真相。因为如果是凶手是船长，就没有证据，站不太住脚啊。侧面也不能，比较像一出意外。有罪无罪？可是试图掩盖真相啊。我们来看一下最不可能的，先从最不可能的开始。
Well, Inspector, this case proved to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
I'll leave that to you, Inspector. After all, you have handled this matter quite brilliantly.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes. I do appreciate it.
懒，对啊，不太可能啊，不行啊，不可能。那如果选无能的警官呢
？Well, Inspector, This case proved
Yeah.
to be a simple one after all.
You think it's the Randall gang, then?
Yes.
I'll put my men on it straight away.
The next time you call on me, do try to make sure it's for
有
something
趣
a
一
little
些。
better than this.
What do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
It is a case that only Watson could find some
更有
small
挑
point
战
of
性的
interest
案
in.
子，
I am used to more challenging work.
笑死！不是啊，不是这个。那这个世界还蛮短的诶，后面好像还有一个。保护心爱的女儿。哦，所以他是他老爸哦，不是吧？把不可能的全部看完，最后再
Wiggins,
选
could
那
you
个
ask
可能
Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
1个小时过后，
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
要打了吗？
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never
Oh.
did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage.
生鸡鸡，
I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
这个声音是要打起来
Brackenstall
的吗？
already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary,
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes,
You would not have managed to protect her.
till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
要打了吗？好啊 ，W， 按到空白键了。
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
啊，结果他是凶手。好吧，那我们来看一下那个意外好了。 可是他给的线索其实没有很站得住脚呢。绳子可以站椅子上去割，也不见得一定要够高大。然后他也有可能真的是跌倒撞到这栅栏。
The head was cracked with the force of the blow.
猛烈的冲击。好吧。无罪有罪，来看一下这两个结果。
Ladies, I know the full story. You are both guilty, are you not?
Mr. Holmes, I can explain everything.
No, madam, he's bluffing.
It is no use. Your husband was a violent man, a cruel man. Your argument last night ended tragically, with him stumbling and falling, fatally striking his head upon the fireplace grate. However, your mise en scène to divert suspicion was unnecessary. You should have admitted the truth.
The truth is often subjective, Mr. Holmes.
Not to me.
What will you tell Inspector Lestrade?
He will find nothing, as he handed the case over to me. Farewell, ladies.
就这样，他什么都没解释啊。
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you thought that
失败。
Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it.
这
Goodbye,
样的
Inspector.
跟失败没什么两样啊，就是失败啊。哇，我连探长都吓到我没想到你会失败，笑死。好啊，另外一个如果把他定罪呢？
I have reached my conclusion, Lestrade. I regret that your
隔壁
culprits
的
are in
两
the
位
next room.
Lady Brackenstall and her maid?
Yes, and their mise en scene after the death of Sir Eustace can only point to premeditation.
That's terrible. Follow me. I'm going to arrest them. Ladies, I must arrest you both for the murder of Sir Eustace.
What? But that's impossible.
不可能
We，are
我们
innocent.
是清白的夫人。
You'll tell that to the judge. Come with me now.
You are making a serious mistake, Inspector. You too, Mr. Holmes, which is rather surprising of you.
Or rather, impossible.
这是太荒唐了，真的挺荒唐的。好啦好啦，选正确结局吧。调查完成。
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again?
What?
跳过，这边看过了。
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It...
What?
And... It is...
Oh,
Let...
Mary，
But that...
Mr.
You would not...
Till I... Now it...
是时候结束这一切了。叮，想干嘛 ？W。
You should have let...
决定94%、35%跟我选择同样的法律守护者。皇家植物园事件。我们又解决了一个案件。
Holmes,
好，看一下，不知道有没有办法回去玩其他事件呢？好像可以，消失了我调查事件，要重新开始事件吗？会被重置，同时不会影响其他案件造成的影响。哦，它可以重新玩一次的。加载最新存档。哦，不用。OK， 我们福尔摩斯先解到这边，然后剩没多少了吧？我今天玩多久？哇，快5个小时了，先休息一下。要休息吗？好，我休息一下好了，晚一点。哇，哇，不会啦，不会到半夜啊！哇，你好认真哦！哇，真的有在看我的台，是4小时的，不是4分钟49秒，你少来，太认真了。4点49啊，4小时49啊，什么4分钟49秒？没有人描述过那么慢的吧？你是哪个次元的？你描述过特别慢哦。摸鱼没有好不好？我有点累了，让我休息一下。顺便去找个点心吃，然后晚一点后面小数点不算，什么后面小数点不算？好啦，我大概看一下，如果 DVD 10点开的话，好，不然给我一个小时的时间，我4点再开好不好？我4点再开那个古墓奇兵，我休息1个小时，哦，喝点饮料，买点东西吃，啊，录音了。跟你约好了，那我们等下4点见。我要趁现在赶快。好啦，然后我就先去休息啊，待会见。真的，快去补充题，我去买一罐蛮牛。拜。